Hey everybody, Corey here coming at you with another knife review. I know this is weird. It's been a really long time. I promise I'm not dead. We're not going to go over the update in this video. Just know that I still very much love my knives. And as a matter of fact, I intended to come back a little bit and do a review of some higher end knives. This one came in the meantime. Um, and it has some things that I need to talk about. I feel obligated to talk about. So much so that it has jumped the queue and it is now like the first knife on up for review. So without further ado, let's just get into it. This is the here 1 second. Let me just get all this stuff. It just came in today. There's your box. There's your swag. There's the inside of the box. It has a little open, and this is nice. They do give you. I'll start with some of the good things. Right? They give you some extra hardware. They give you a Torx bit that is the appropriate size to kind of tweak the knife, little microfiber cloth, and they give you it's like the top of the pocket clip so that you can reverse it and make it for a left-hander, right? That's really it. It's bare bones. They're not giving you a ton of swag, and that's okay because I would rather get more knife than more swag. That being said, let's do some size comparisons here. Let's open this up all the way. There's your Overlook right there. And I was going to say, I actually didn't even take the measurements, but that's okay. We don't need to take the measurements. I believe it's either 2.75 inches. You can see it's a pretty small knife. You would think that this was an Ontario Knives rat number 1, but it's my rat 2, because here it is next to the Spyderco PM2, and you can see that's much bigger. So these are two knives that I think everyone is familiar with. This really is a relatively small kind of desk knife. Again, you can look up the specs. I'm pretty sure we're dealing with 2.75 on the blade here. But yeah, I mean, you stack it next to your Rat 2. Let's put them butt to butt. And it's coming in relatively small. And then again, next to a PM2, again, it's super small. And you can even see, I don't have particularly large hands. Even like I won't choke up on the knife or anything. I mean, I devour this thing. It's pretty tiny. That's okay. That's not a fault. If you buy it, you know what you're getting, right? Let me move these other ones off the table. Let me start with. No, I was going to say let me start with what I like. Let's start with the real elephant in the room. If you have looked into this knife at all since it came out, it's created a lot of buzz online. Lots of, oh my God, this knife is amazing. This knife is fantastic. They've built such a wonderful product. Look at the way it looks, the way it feels. And there's one comment that actually caused me to pull the trigger on this knife that I keep seeing everywhere. Oh, this is what I wished a small Sebenza was. This feels just like a small Sebenza. Oh my gosh, this reminds me of Chris Reeve with how well made it is. And Now, I'm gonna lead with it. I'm just gonna get it out of the way, okay? As someone who didn't even like his Sebenza, I didn't even like my Chris Reeve, but I will admit what Chris Reeve does well. And what Chris Reeve does well is fit and finish and tolerances. And I can wholeheartedly say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, saying that this thing stacks up to a Chris Reeve knife is nothing short of a criminal insult to a Chris Reeve knife. And let's talk about right out of the box. Let's talk about the three things that I was like, oh boy, So first of all, the centering is a little off. I'm not twisting the knife. You can see it favors the lock side just a hair. Except, wait a second, it doesn't favor the lock side just a little bit. Because when you look at the gap between the blade and the handles, you can see that the gap is actually pretty stable all the way up to about here. It is just a little bit asymmetrically ground, and it's more aggressively ground on the right, which causes the knife to look like it's off center, a little to the left, but it's not. It's just asymmetrically ground. Okay, that's the easiest nitpick. That's the simplest, that's the most forgivable kind of complaint that I have about this knife. The other one, however, I can't show it on camera because I already tightened it. It came with blade play. It came with blade play, and the only way I could get rid of it was by kind of cranking down the pivot even more than I was comfortable with. It's at a point where it's gone now, but I can tell you, if you want to get rid of that blade play, you're going to have to get this thing closer to a Sebenza than you thought, because the action is going to be so tight. It might as well be a Sebenza at that point. If you're familiar with a Sebenza action, it's not drop shot at all. I mean, it's very stiff. And if you're not really giving this thing the shake business, it's not going to close, right? Now, the action can be a little bit better than this. The action can kind of get to a more of a gentle kind of shake close, but you have to loosen the pivot and you have to introduce some blade play. Okay. Fine. Little bit of asymmetric grinding, no big deal. Blade play that you can remove by tightening the pivot, not awesome, but again, you can fix that problem on your own. You might not like a tight knife after you tighten the pivot, but you can fix the blade play problem. Fine, you get a pass. And I will say, whether the action is loose or tight, it is wildly smooth. It is wildly smooth. It is a very pleasant feeling knife in terms of that smoothness when you're closing it. It's almost frictionless. It's like glass on glass. It's beautiful in that regard. However, the third thing that is really, really, really rough for me, this knife has more lock slip than any knife I have ever handled. Cheap, expensive, ever. Watch this. Look at the lock bar right there. And I'm gonna barely put any pressure on this. It's making an ass out of me now. Let me keep. Really did it fix itself before this review? Did the lock slip go away? Oh no, there we go. It really doesn't show up well under camera because I've got to flex it and then the knife twists and it looks like it's not moving. Here's a better example because you can see it in the blade and I can feel it. When I grip this knife and when I put my thumb on the spine, watch the blade wiggle. Look at that. That's not camera effects. Look at the tip of that knife. That is how much the lock is flexing. Just under the pressure of my thumb. I'm not doing a lot, guys. This is just my thumb. I'm not giving it the death grip, right? That's like a scary amount of play. And now maybe since I've messed with it, maybe you can see it under the camera. Nah, it's really hard to do under the camera, but trust me, when I'm doing this, I'm putting like no effort into this. This really, oh God, oh, it's so squishy. Yeah, people who say, "Oh, this is like a Sebenza. This is as good as a Chris Reeve for a third of the price," whatever. No. And again, this is coming from someone who isn't even obsessed with Chris Reeve. I'm not even a Chris Reeve fan. So why am I making this video? I don't just want to crap on this knife because I bought this knife, right? I wanted this knife. Let's talk about what this knife does well. My God, it's beautiful. It's so sleek. This is like the perfect desk knife. If you're not looking for, I'm taking it to the job site and I'm going to cut bricks with it, right? What a beautiful piece just to have on your desk. It is completely sterile. The only design choices really going on here complement the ergonomics. Yeah, it's got blade flex, but I tell you what, man, it's comfortable. It's really comfortable for a knife this size. It is outstandingly comfortable to carry. It is relatively thin, right? Look at that profile in the pocket. You don't even know that it's there, right? A great gentleman's knife. And you know what? This is something that at this point in my career, I'm a little bit more interested, but if you're into modding your knives, just look at how the whole thing is just sterile. This is begging for custom work. This is begging, this is the only version that they offer at this point in time. This is just begging for you to totally make this knife your own. Send it into Way of Knife or some other customization service, murder it out, get it DLC'd, get some laser work on here. I mean, oh my God, it's a canvas for custom work and making it your own knife. But sterile blade. I like the sterile blade. It's a slicer. I used it to cut open a few packages just as it arrived today. And it's a slicer. I mean, with stock this thin, it's not like, it's not the thinnest stock in the world, but I believe it's 9/1000ths. That's about where I want to be for a knife that I'm actually going to use and a knife that I'm actually going to cut things with. But yeah, overall, For me, right? If I'm being honest, I like the experience of this knife because I'm the kind of person who does like to send my knives in for custom work. I probably will just keep it and get some custom work done and make it my own and turn it into kind of a cool piece. But if I didn't put videos on the internet and if I didn't like customizing my knives, if you asked me if I could just have my $200 back, or if I could keep this knife, I'd take my $200 back. Like it really is that simple. I've got other small knives that do the job that this knife does without the issues. You know what? The blade being a little off center because it's asymmetrical to the ground, I can forgive that. Whoa. The action being relatively stiff and in the knife having some blade play until you lock down the pivot, I can forgive that. But this lock flex, this is horrifying. Like when I'm actually using this knife, when you grab this knife, oh my God, look at those, just the squishiness. That's the only way I can describe it, is the squishiness. Um, for me, that just makes it feel so bad. It makes it feel like a knife that I can't trust, right? And that's the kind of thing, respectfully, you know, if so many people are going to bring their name into it, that's the kind of thing you never, ever, ever see on a Chris Reeve. I mean, it's a really bad day in Chris Reeve QC when they let one of those slip by. It's a really, really, really bad day. So, do I think this deserves to be compared to Chris Reeve in the first place? No, it's a $200 knife. You can't hold this thing to the same standards that you hold a Chris Reeve to. But that's the name that's been getting tossed around. I don't know if it's just because that's what people do, right? In the community, the content creator community, one big guy says, "Oh, it feels like a Sabenza. It feels like a Chris Reeve." And then everybody hears that and they go, "Oh, I got to repeat that. It feels like a Sabenza." It doesn't. I'm telling you, man, I would stake my life on it. It doesn't feel like a Chris Reeve. Now, maybe would I say that these other people were lying? No, not necessarily, right? But if their knives were as good as they say that they were, then I would point to mine and I would say, well, then Big Idea Design Co. has a QC problem, an inconsistency problem. I could believe those other knives are good, and I could believe that maybe I just got bad luck with this one. But in that regard, then I would say to you, like I said, then they have inconsistent QC. So what is it? Does this knife have more potential than the YouTubers are saying to kind of be a little underwhelming for $200? Or is Big Idea Design Co.'s QC, yeah, maybe it could use a little bit of work, right? I don't know the answer to that, but hopefully I've given you enough information to make a decision for yourself. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Not necessarily the way I wanted to come back. I prefer more positive reviews, but I can assure you that the other knives, here, I'll give you a little sneak preview. You know what? Oh, my baby. Just so you know, I have nothing bad to say about this one. I'm not even going to tell you what it is because that's not what this video is about. It's not all doom and gloom here. Guys, I love you. I've missed you, and I'll see you all soon.